Hi, I'm Ria and I created this. That video is probably the most important video on the channel. My Polish subscribers knows me as a person who play Minecraft. And of course as a person who is almost a fanatic of Hytale. And today I want to show you guys my biggest hobby. And that hobby is making sculptures. In my life I've made a lot of commissions. But my favorite ones, that always will be the sculptures from Hytale. There was a time when I could even flex that my sculptures are on the headquarters of Hypixel Studios. And I can't even tell how important that was in my life at that moment. The amount of love from Hytale community was incredible. That was the first time in my whole life when I was feeling a part of something big. My posts on Twitter with Trisinge and Mosshorn was almost a viral in Hytale community. And that's why 1 year ago I managed to be part of Hytale Tankmas community. I created 3 sculptures based on official new Skarax design. And people loved them. I still have some Hytale commissions to finish. Yeah, better keep looking at Hugo, Reddons, Hawkon and Hainz because they will have some amazing commission from me. But today we will focus on that one commission. Hey, I'm reaching out to you secretly because I'm planning a little surprise to my brother for Christmas. Since I know you are a big fan of his video game. Wait a second! What do you mean, his video game? Whose brother you are? And that's how I get commission from Simon's brother. For Simon's brother, that was really important for that gift to be created by community's hands. So I started planning how the sculpture can look like. As a first step, I decided to reach the Crimzon Crow, creator of the Simon's new avatar. I asked about permission to use her design in some secret project. The first idea was to have only Simon with little Quebec on his back. But that wasn't my first sculpture, so I know we need to add more points. And as points, I mean something like legs. But of course, our Simon as a sloth is standing on his 2 legs, so we decide to add 1 more creature to that sculpture. I was thinking about maybe dinosaur, and after thinking about 2 types, we choose that green raptor. After sending a quick sketch, I was waiting for accept. Then I finally could start working. We decided to make that sculpture big. The only rule was that sculptures must fit in my mom's oven. So I start from little sketch, and I could finally start making bones. Something that I love the most about making sculptures is that I have vision in my head and I'm looking at that piece of clay knowing that will be amazing sculpture. So Hytale fans remember when the big Hytale gameplay dropped. At that time I was sitting with High Circle. When I was sitting with that amazing community, some idea popped out in my head. I sent a message to Simon's brother because I needed his permission. The idea was to involve more of Hytale community to that project. I wanted to create small hanging sign with small thank you, and I wanted to hide inside of that sign some of cute messages from Hytale's community. Like, you know, physically, like print out some little messages and hide inside. Simon's brothers loved that idea, so we decided to share that idea with High Circle, and we make a big brainstorm. They loved that idea, but Hawkon shared with us his awesome idea. A little QR code on the other side of sign leading to online site. Hawkon created a group on Discord with incredible talented artists. When I was focused on my sculpture, they managed to create beautiful site. But I'm not smart enough to explain how incredible that project is, so for that part, I'm leaving you with Hawkon.
Hi there, I'm Hawkon. When I heard about Ria's secret project, I knew that we had to do something big, and thanks to this amazing community, I know a lot of talented people that could help accomplish that. 3 people immediately came to mind: an incredibly skilled programmer Taya, as well as the UI artists Shaka and Nope from the French Hytale community. So I made a group chat and of course they were all on board. We started brainstorming and Taya pretty much immediately suggested making a world map with messages all over it, and we all loved it. 1 hour later, she had already developed a prototype. Shakid then came up with a design with the iconic blue and gold Hytale style UI. Then, when Nope joined, he immediately got to work on making the world map feel more like Hytale, drawing shorelines, ice and deserts onto it, even adding a layer of moving clouds on top of it all. It all ended up looking amazing in the end. Meanwhile, I set out to get all the thank you messages from the community. Unfortunately, I couldn't just make some public post about this because the entire project was a secret. If we had just thrown it out there, Simon would probably have found out about it fairly quickly. My only option was to message people individually and hope they wouldn't share it. So I got to work on that and wow, just wow. The amount of support in this community is really overwhelming. Messages came pouring in from every continent in the world. Over 170 messages in total. Laid out like this, it is really quite incredible to see how diverse this community is. I didn't give any instructions for what they should send. I just told them that there should be a thank you note for Simon, and we ended up with so many heartfelt messages in the form of text, art and even videos. Reading and watching them all is quite overwhelming. Even before releasing, Hytale has had quite a big impact on so many people, just from sheer inspiration alone, and this website has captured a snapshot of that impact. So a big thank you to Taya, Shakid and Nope for helping realize this, and thank you to Simon's brother and Rhea for letting the community in on this. Rhea really went all the way on this one, and she did an amazing job on the sculpture. And Simon, I hope this can help you actually realize just how many lives you have affected. I'm sure there will be many more to come. However, there is more to this story, so make sure to listen to Rhea all the way to the end. Hawkon out.
The first idea was to show that project on Tankmas, so time was flying. Tick tack, tick tack. When I managed to finish the whole sculpture, it still wasn't over of that work. I still have to bake, poor Simon. Because I don't have any oven in my apartment, I had to go to my mom's place. That was a really cold day in Poland. My fingers was freezing, but I managed to transport that sculpture safely and I could finally start the baking process. If you are using cheap clay supplies, sculptures sometimes can melt. Because I'm using professional and really great polymer clay, I was thinking everything will be fine. But hell no, my life cannot be that easy. After 5 minutes of baking, my little Simon starts changing position. I burned my fingers trying to save this. But after an hour of working, little Simon was fully baked. So yeah, that was the time for my favorite part. I was planning to make full time-lapse of painting, but I've become really sick. I was on antibiotics almost for 2 weeks. There was a time when I even could talk. Because that fever, I recurred only a small amount of that work. But oh my Gaia, I love painting sculptures. This is the time when sculpture in my head start looking alive. And the very next day, I could say project is almost done. Almost, because after all we decided with Simon's brother that we put some gloss on that sculpture. And yeah, putting gloss on that sculpture was so satisfying. And the last thing was shipping. It wasn't my first time when I tried to ship something really fragile. The Tree Singer and Moss Horn arrived on first Hytale headquarters, complete and really great condition. So I wasn't scared about shipping that sculpture. It had even less fragile parts. At least that was what I was thinking at that moment. I really put all of my heart into that packaging. Because I still have some trust issues with delivery companies, I decided to put that box in another box. And I feel completely that space between the 2 boxes. I place my order and I have my label. Because I don't have anything to print this out in my house, I wanted to go at the next day to a special place when I can finally print this out. But something weird happened. I checked the site and what? It was showing my sculpture already is en route. and it's right now traveling through the Poland? I was completely in shock. I was looking at that package. It was standing right here at my home. Delivery guy is supposed to appear like in 3 hours. And I had no label to print this out. With the very rest of my money, I bought another order. This time it took my money but never gave me any label to print it out. So at that point I was completely broke. Of course, I tried to call support and I tried to explain my problem as well as I can. I explained, hey, it's a second day of month and that package really have to be on the destination in the next week. But that lady told me, okay, you can buy another label. Your money will be back in 30 days. 30 days! That 2 labels already cost me like 500 złotych. To explain how much this is in Poland, it's quarter of my whole rent for my apartment, even with bills. I had my heart in my throat, trying to find any other solutions. I told that story to people on that group chat Hawkon made with others. And thanks to Hawkon, we managed to find solution. Hawkon borrowed me money for next shipping. Of course, we choose different shipping company. I filled the whole formula and at the very next day my package was on the road. Now it was time to waiting. Package spent almost 5 days in Belgium. I already knew that that package will not be at time. On my call with support, they told me that the package will be in the next 3 days. But I've already know that's too late to show that project on Thankmas. So we were still waiting. Because I've lost my word what happened next, I will just think about it. And I wake up in the morning at the 7 a.m. and I see the message and scream in my head, oh no, what's going on? My sculpture was broken. Oh no. Simon's brother sent me that pictures. Not only my heart was broken, the whole sculpture was broken. It was in pieces. I wanted to cry. What they did to that sculpture, they was jumping on this, they was playing football with it. I start panicking. I really wanted to find solution. I even told that, hey, you can ship this on my cost again to Poland. I can repair this and I can fly with it to Canada by myself. So everything will be fine. Don't panic. We can glue this together. I can even call you on Discord and I can show you how to glue this together. It will be okay. It will be perfectly fine. And oh, thanks God. I saw the message that their mom is an artist, so I record a video when I purposely breaking one of my sculptures. By the way, look how small damage it is when I throwing this without any box. I showed how to glue this so there is no sign of anything being damaged. After a few days there was no sign of any damage. And yeah, the little Simon was finally home. I mean, almost home. We still have to wait for Christmas to know about Simon's reaction. And yeah, right after Christmas I get a really cute message. 2 days after Simon received his gift, he sent me a message. He told me that he saw all messages from that site. Every single thank you, Simon. He said seeing that kind of community support means a lot. And this is all about. Hytale was always about community. That amazing people managed to raise over $70,000 for charity event. I've never before met so many amazing people in one place. Always helpful, always full of love. With the same hopes and the same trust in that game. Simon, you not only saved the game, you saved us, the Hytale community. So, one more time, thank you.